Okay, so just got home, drove Kaylee across town for volleyball. Kind of had to race because I didn't know that I was driving her, so we left with only 20 minutes to get across town and back. I wanted to show you guys the numbers because I'm in the Outlander right now, and we know that the new Mazda CX-90 is not as efficient. We're getting 23 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers in that car. We have no save battery or anything like that. Now, I didn't save any battery power here. We just went, and I may have been doing 70, 80 to get across town and back. We went 30 kilometers, and I'll show you guys the numbers. Now, because it's 32 degrees Celsius out there, very warm, the engine did not start, not even once. So 100% electric driving. And look at this, 15.8 kilowatt hours used per 100 kilometers, which is quite a bit more efficient because we coast a lot in this car than the new CX-90. This is a Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV update. I have a ton of stuff I want to tell you guys. And also we're going to do a little test while we're sitting here. I've run the battery down and I'll show you what I'm going to do and then we'll start our discussion. This is important stuff for all of you guys looking to buy the Mitsubishi PHEV or who already own it and want to see how Gary's battle, the fight for a new battery is going. This is the video for you because I have a ton of updates. We just drove out into the country and the gasometer just dropped to 6 kilometers right now. That's why I pulled over. Okay, I want to show you guys something here. I have driven 655 kilometers since we got the car back from Mitsubishi, and I'm doing my testing to try and see if we get this error that shuts the car down and I need a tow. So far it hasn't happened. But I want you to look at how much fuel we've used. Almost half a tank in 655 kilometers. So why that's important is normally in this car when I got it, when the battery was new, we would go 2,200 kilometers a month average, and then I would be down to a quarter tank or a little bit less, and I would fill it up again. Now my wife has the new CX-90 Mazda PHEV, and guess what? In the first 6 weeks, she went 2,200 kilometers and then was down to a quarter tank and had to fill it up. So our driving routines are pretty much set. We've been doing this for 8 years. This car is 7 years old, over 7 years old. So I know that is how much having the poor battery at 56% is affecting the gas, right? Instead of getting a full tank of gas, at this point I would still be at almost a full tank at 655 kilometers normally. But because the engine is starting all the time, every time I start the car, I'm not getting any of these short trips. I've used almost half a tank in a quarter of the kilometers that we would normally use. So you're going to be putting in an extra couple tanks of gas as this thing gets older. You're not going to get the electric out of it. But it is going to affect you. Not to mention that then you're just not getting the distance in electric, right? So if you want to talk emissions, which is a side of it that I never talk about because it's something intangible, right? But we could do the numbers and crunch how much emissions are we saving or not saving when this car is not running properly. Anyway, the test I want to do today is when we got this car, we know that in a 10-minute charge, we would press the charge button and let the car run for 10 minutes, we would gain 8 kilometers back. The video is on the channel. We did that. And I said that while you're dropping your wife off in cold winter or fall conditions, she's running in to grab something at the store or the mall, and you're sitting there waiting for her, you might as well press the charge button because in a short matter of time, you could gain back enough kilometers to do your in-town circuit. Parked at the end of a dead-end road and the neighbors came out to see what the hell you're doing. But we're going to push this charge button. I'm doing testing to see if we can get this error to come up again because they don't seem to know themselves. It makes no sense to me that they can't plug in the computer and say exactly what part is causing this, but this is what they're telling me. They can't figure it out. So far, I've done air conditioning tests because that is something they said, well, it could be the air conditioner trying to draw too much power and it causes a low voltage warning and the car shuts down. Well, I've run through 2 complete electric cycles, 35 kilometers each, with the air conditioning running, and no issues. The air conditioning is cold, it runs fine, it kicks on and off as it needs to. I just put it on auto. That's not the issue. So I'm going to test the charging unit on this right now. We have 6 kilometers on the gasometer, and I'm going to charge it for exactly 10 minutes. So when my watch starts here at the exact time, we're going to run exactly 10 minutes, which is right now. So 10:36, we'll run this for 10 minutes on charge, and we'll see how much we gain of battery from 6 kilometers. How high up does the gasometer go? Used to go up 8 kilometers in a 10-minute charge. So Mitsubishi has decided, the local dealer, that they need to get me out of this car. You know, it's just not worth it. It's a big hassle, Gary. You're wasting our time. You're wasting your time. And I said, great. And he said, what do you need to resolve this problem? And I said, first of all, Jason, that's the manager of the local dealership, he said I used his name in a previous video, and that could be a lawsuit. No, it's not. I've never said anything that hasn't happened. I consider myself a journalist in this process, guys. They tell me what they're going to do. They do what they're going to do. And I film and tell you guys and show you the result. That's all I'm doing, is chronicling this journey. There's no lawsuits to be had on their end. There might be one on mine. We'll get to that. Anyway, he says, what will it take to get you out of the car? I said, you either need to put a battery in it. And he stopped me right there. He said, you're not getting a battery. I am not buying you a battery. The local dealer will not pay for a battery. Mitsubishi Canada owes you a battery, and they will not release one. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said he agrees with me that the battery should not be at 56%, that I have a valid claim, a valid issue. And I said, well, how does that look, Jason, when the local dealer says, hey, this guy has a valid issue with his battery under warranty, and you can't get me a battery? How does that look? In my mind, this is an open and closed case. If we take this to court and the local dealer is saying he has an issue, then how are they going to win, right? They're not. Anyway, they will not put a battery in this car. So I said, fine, buy the car back off of me at a good price. In other words, you're buying me off, paying me off to get me out of this problem. I figured retail on this car was $15,000, thereabouts, with 145,000 kilometers on it, and I'm bang on. That is the retail value on Mitsubishi's computer. They showed me $15,000. So most of you will now know what they offered me, because you know how they work. $7,000. That's what they offered me to get out of this car. I said, not a chance. So they also want to try to sell me a new car, but not a Mitsubishi. They own both dealers, Toyota and Mitsubishi, and they're pushing me to go into a RAV4 Prime, which I agree, hands down, probably is the better choice. But I love this car. I'm not done with this car. We need to deal with this car. If you're not going to give me $20,000 for this car or put a battery in it, because that's what I wanted, you're paying me off basically by giving me an extra $5,000, which is all going to go into buying a new car off of you, so you're not losing anything. They wouldn't even do that. We are where we are, and that's the next step, is that their own reporting said that there could be an issue with battery heaters. This car, the 2018 up to 2023, they have a battery heating unit, a ceramic heater that heats the battery when the car is plugged in. All these plug-in hybrids need that. They stopped putting them in after 2024 on, and now they're getting sued, class action lawsuit, because the cars won't start in -20 temperatures. Well, guess what? Most of our winter up here, it can go down anywhere from -30 to -40. So it wasn't too smart on their end to do that. There is a class action lawsuit for that. Anyway, they are now willing to replace, under warranty, on a $7,000 valued car, this is what they're telling me the car's worth, a $7,000 part. It's $5,000 and something, plus the labor to install it comes to $7,000. They're going to do that. They've ordered the part. They're going to put it in this car. So that is the next step on their end. Will that fix the error that shuts my car completely down and then I therefore need a tow? I can't see how that would affect a low voltage warning, but what it might do is fix the error that we're getting where the engine is starting all the time. I've noticed that as soon as it's under 20 degrees Celsius, even 18 degrees, the engine wants to start every time. If it's above 20 degrees Celsius out, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I can get the car to run through the 35 kilometers without the engine starting. So maybe it is a heater issue on that starting problem that we have. Either way, they're going to replace it. They're refusing to give me a battery. I still have 2.5 years warranty. Also, I want to remind you that the warranty for your battery is separate from your Diamond Plan warranty if you bought that. I bought that. And in my head, I kept thinking, I'm going to run out of kilometers here in the next year, and that's going to null my battery warranty. It's not. You've got a full 10-year warranty on your battery. So I'm going to hold them to task by keeping this car and making them fix it under warranty for the next 2.5 years every time it shuts down until they find out what it is or put a new battery in it. And it's not just for me, it's for my daughter. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to say, look, they're telling me my car's worth $7,000. If I buy the new car off of you, my payments next year alone would be more than $7,000. So I'm not making anything on that deal. If I write this car off and say this car is worth $0, but drive it for another year, hey, I just saved $7,000. Now I have a full other year warranty on top of that. So guess what? Gary's going to drive for 2 more years. Now I've made $14,000 by your math, right? I didn't have to buy a new one to make payments to you. That's $14,000 that's still in my bank account and not yours. And then guess what? I still have another half-year warranty on the car after that. And at that point, that's when we're going to sue them to put in a new battery, because I will be down into the 40% range at that point. This car is not going to run very good with 40%. Right now, I showed them, I sent a picture, it holds 4.9 kilowatt hours. On an empty charge to a full charge in my garage. That's what the 12 kilowatt hour battery is holding. You have to remember the sum of the battery is reserved. You can never touch that. So a 12 kilowatt hour battery really is a 10 kilowatt hour battery, because there's 20% or thereabouts that they never allow you to touch. So anyway, that's the plan moving forward, guys. And I just told them straight up, it makes no sense that you're going to replace this battery heater at $7,000 when the new battery comes with that in there, right? And there's also a water heater that they're talking about. Could that be the issue as well? I don't know. It's another $3,000 part. I know, it's a lot of numbers, guys, and it's a lot of mumbo jumbo and a lot of bullshit trying to deal with them. They will do anything and everything to not put a new battery in this car. And I've warned you guys, this is just my experience, but dealing with Mitsubishi, they don't want to replace my battery, because then they would have to replace every battery in the 5,000 that were sold in Canada, because they're all in the 50s, and maybe there's a few in the 60, low 60 percentile, but most of the guys that I'm talking with online are right in the same place as me, 50-some%. Mine is at 56% maximum state of charge, and the car is 7 years old. So you got to remember that it's not all cracked up to this 10-year warranty that they're talking about. You're going to get half the distance and pay twice the fuel after 7 years. All right, here we go. We're approaching 10 minutes. There it is, 10 minutes. And we're still at 12 kilometers. So 6 kilometers added. Oh, 13. Right there, just hit 13. So there is a test that I'm pretty sure nobody else on YouTube is going to show you the result of. When the car was new, 10 minutes would put 8 kilometers back on the gasometer. Now that the car is 7 years old, 10 minutes, 7 kilometers. Just, a few seconds over 10 minutes. 7 kilometers put back in. So I can verify that my charging system is still working tip-top. Perfect. Right? And the final thing I will add, I forgot to tell you guys, is when they shipped my car down south in the back of a flatbed truck to have a look at it, and all they ended up doing was resetting the computer again. They said they updated the computer and then reset it. They took a bunch of pictures of my car and sent it back to the dealer. And I'll tell you guys, I'll get out and show you what they took a picture of. 2 things, and it pissed me off. They took a picture of my trailer hitch and circled it in red. They're trying to say that I've got a hitch on there and that's an issue. Well, it's not an issue. The dealer put that hitch on there because this vehicle is rated to tow 1,500 pounds, and it has never towed more than 1,500 pounds. So shame on you for that one, Mitsubishi. Secondly, they took a picture of this broken fender right here. This plastic, all it is a plastic wrap that goes all the way around the back of the car. And it's broken. I'll flip you around and show you. There's 4 inches missing on the fender, and all it does is it exposes a metal plate in there. So normally this plastic would come down right here, and this is still all open from the inside underneath, right? Anything can get in here. That's open. That's not broken at all. Just this outside piece is broken off. So this is always exposed to water and everything coming off the tire from down below. That's why this metal protector is on here. They took pictures of that. They also put my car up on the hoist and they took pictures of, there's a metal cover plate that goes along the bottom. They took pictures of every dent from stones coming up and hitting that metal plate. And they sent it to the local dealer, to Jason, and they said, you know, these things right here are enough to say that this could void the warranty. In other words, that this car is being abused. Nonsense and bullshit, guys. And even the dealer was mad. He said, they're making me mad now, and he emailed them back. I don't know what he emailed them. He refuses to share his contacts with me because he says it's internal and I can't have access to that. But he said on the phone, he told me, this is wrong and this is making me mad. He said, I have the full history in the car. It's never been abused. That has nothing to do with your battery issue. But that's how sneaky they are and what they're trying to do. And I'm glad that the dealer is working with me and standing up for me. I just don't understand how they can't get a result. He says he's been trying for 2 years. We have email chains going back 2 years. And he's saying, I've been trying to get you a battery. They will not release it. They actually canceled his order when he put it in for the new battery. So this is what you're going to deal with when you deal with Mitsubishi. The local dealers have no power.